Hey there everybody, welcome back for one of those early fall versions of a Sunday in the garden. We're going to start out really quickly outside because it's kind of sprinkling a little bit, kind of windy, kind of cold, not the greatest weather, but there are a couple things I want to do here. And then I figured we'd go and check the studio upstairs, see how those transplanted, well, not really transplanted, but brought back in plants, I don't know. Relocated. Yes, the relocated plants are upstairs in the studio and the transplanted ones are downstairs in the dungeon, so we'll check on those too. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get gardening. One of the things I'd like to do today is pull this monster rutabaga out of the ground, find out what it weighs. Guess that means over the next couple of days I'm going to need to try cooking that, see what I can do with it. I don't know. I've heard mashed is pretty interesting, French fry type is pretty interesting, hash brown type is interesting. Seems to be enough there to try all of that. And over here we've got this sage. I need to trim that back a little bit, harvest it up to dry, and then I'd really like to transplant it, take it downstairs into the dungeon. Hopefully it will keep growing for me. It already has a little bit of life history indoors, so that wouldn't be terrible if it did. And then I'd also like to try and rescue this poor little rosemary. Doesn't look like much, hardly grew at all outside, but that poor thing's a couple of years old, so figure maybe I can bring it back in and just leave it there for now. Perhaps it will do better. I'm going to need to harvest up this Manitoba variety of tomato in the next few days. Some of them have gone a little too far, some of them are coming in early, but it's cold, that's life. I'm going to say the pumpkin is officially never going to get red. Time to cut that off pretty soon. Took in the lemon boy, it's hanging downstairs, I'll show you that when we get there. These poor indigo rose tomatoes. Oh, how I desperately need a greenhouse. This one ahi verde variety of pepper has done particularly well with the cold. There are a few other things that are starting to die off, but thanks again, Dave. Your thought that the ahi varieties would be better for my climate seems to be pretty much bang on. Alright, let's go pull up that rutabaga, grab the probably bathroom scale to see what it weighs. Well, it doesn't look like there was a whole lot of this growing beneath the soil line, and it kind of looked like got some funkiness going on inside there. Might have left this a little too long. I guess it's compost and not kitchen experiments. Next year, if I grow these, I'll have to pull it a little sooner. Well, at least I know harvesting up this sage is going to have a happier ending for me. Gonna look a lot different once all this green is gone. Should survive transplant better, I hope. Well, I'd say that's a dramatically different look for that sage plant. And a pretty decent harvest. I'm gonna go inside, weigh this up, get back to you with that number while we're transplanting that little guy. Now, I always tell myself when I'm going to do this stuff, I'm going to try not to disturb the roots too bad, but this sucker is really, well, what's the good expression? Dug in like a tick. So, it's just going to have to cope with the damage, I guess. And here we have the end result. Bashed as much of the soil out of those roots as I'm willing to. I've traumatized this thing enough as it is. So, bag of potting soil, decent container. More or less fits. And there we go. Sure hope this dirty little sage survives that transplanting. Take it inside, wash it off a little bit. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine, right? Right, yeah. Now that little rosemary dug up a lot easier. Didn't really grow very much out here though. So at least this transplant will be easy. And it's a little more appropriately sized for its container, so alright. Maybe it'll do better now. Alright, well, I'd say that little rosemary plant looks a lot happier already. Let's go put it inside with the rest of them and see how they're doing. So up here in the studio, nice and a little bit warmer. No wind in the background. The sand dollar is just still loving life. Absolutely time for me to give it a trim. But if you look carefully, you can tell that it's kind of starting to sprout out a new set of branches shooting up. So this puppy might just bush out for me if I clip it back. So that's kind of exciting. Down here we've got 3 peppers that I brought back in here. This is the Billy Goat. Gonna have to try it soon. It's a nice looking pepper. Very cute shape to it. Nice gloss, nice color, not too wrinkly. According to my little chart down there, 30 to 50,000 Scoville. So really it should be nothing compared to that Ghost. Speaking of the Ghost, that's this one here. All in all, I'd say it's dealing with coming back inside fairly well. Not a whole lot falls off when I shake the plant, which is nice. Can't say that for what's growing on downstairs, but... then the last one up here, got the Weary Weary with all its cute little tiny peppers on there, and just loads more looking like they want to start. Part of me is thinking, oh, I should prune those off because I'm bringing it inside, and part of me is like, no man, push it to the limit, see what it can do. Yeah, so we'll just see what happens there. Anywho, yes, let's go check the basement jungle, and I'll show you what's going on with that. So down here in the dungeon, we've got kind of a different story going on. Here are the Reapers. They've lost a lot of leaves. Things fall every time I touch them, basically. It's not pretty. The Tabasco seems to be keeping itself together pretty well. You know, a few leaves falling off, but for the most part, it's keeping everything it came with. Here we've got the Devil's Heart pepper. It's another one of those ones that's just loaded with future peppers on there, but I don't know if they'll make it or not. Brought the lemon tree down. Seems to be doing okay-ish. Back here we have, was it the yellow 7-pot brain strain, something along those lines? Was looking pretty much dead, but it had the beginnings of new leaves on there, so I put it under this, was this a Mars Hydro Light, I think it is, and it's doing pretty well. The things that came in from the light outside, natural sunlight's pretty hard to fake. But for the things that have been growing inside, that's doing well. I got a Dieffenbachia back there that's doing pretty well. Brought one of the coffee trees down here. Yeah. Ooh, there goes some more seedlings. So, the light itself is alright as an improvement, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be good enough to keep these puppies alive for me. We'll see. Tabasco looks alright, so we'll see. And then back here we've got everything hanging to ripen. There's the lemon boy. As you can see, it had quite a few tomatoes on it, and this isn't all. There's also some hiding over there, ripening up on the vine for me. So that is not bad. That's not bad at all. It's a pretty decent harvest from what was ultimately one plant. And then, yeah, everything else, all those peppers hanging back there, ripening up a little bit. Down here on the floor, things are running under a standard fluorescent light. I believe this is 6,000, 5,000 K, somewhere in that vicinity. This says it's a jalapeno jalapa, but it's not. It's really garden salsa. Not sure what's going on with this. I'm really hopeful though, because it's a super productive plant. And they're great little peppers, so yeah, as you can see, pretty darn weak though. Beside it here, this is the Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion I brought in. For the most part, seems to be coping with the transfer. That's good. That little habanero back there actually seems happier in here. That's excellent, because I'm still kind of thinking about bringing those other two in. Then here we have the M.A. Wartrix, which, look at those leaves. Yeah. But there's green on here. There's fresh green on here. So I'm hopeful. And if nothing else, it'll give these guys the opportunity to ripen up. Rev, I know you're just dying to see Shocks and I go on that one. What'd you say, 20 minutes? That's crazy. I don't know. That brings us to this beautiful monster here. Also losing leaves left, right, and center, but supporting an awful lot of fruit in the transplant. And there is still plenty of green on here. I had to put a little light on the side here to give it some action over here, but yeah, we'll see how it does. The El Oro de Ecuador cut some of these up into the salsa that I have yet to put up on the kitchen channel. And just cutting them, I could tell that they had a certain sort of heat to them, so I'm hoping to see one get nice and ripe on the plant so I can test it in its proper state. Would be nice, would be nice. Very hopeful that these peppers will make it, but we'll see. And that brings us to the hydroponic garden that I have done a terrible job of maintaining. None of those plants look particularly happy to me, except for the oregano. It's just trucking right along. Loving life in general, so I guess it's going to keep that container. But I'm kind of thinking I'd like to rescue a few more of the peppers from the outside garden, so I might just pull them up and wash those roots off really, really well and put them in there. I don't know. Y'all can offer your thoughts on that in the comments below. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here today, I think, and yeah, get editing this so I can get it posted for you while it's still Sunday. Thank you all so much for sticking around, and please, by all means, offer me any of your thoughts on what I've got growing on here. If you've got any helpful advice, I clearly need it, so, you know, just throw it on down in those comments. I know you want to, so, yeah. Alright, I'll see you guys next week.